Hey Josh, this is the demo for the Stellar Policy plugin. Here's how you run it and set it up. In the same MCP repo, I pushed the Stellar MCP generator. You can also find the Stellar Policy plugin in here. The README consists of relevant stuff, including how to set this up, project structure, test, and architecture. Once you clone the repo, you can send it into Stellar Policy.cli. Following the instructions in here, cargo install -- parts period. You can run the command cargo test to run on the test in here. Let me walk you through a brief stuff about the test. For the test, I get an integration test, a local test, manual test, verified test, and also a build test. So this test ensured everything is working properly, including setting your policy contract up with passkey, weight limiting, admin controls, and more. After make tests, you see 38 tests pass. Some tests are actually ignored. Some tests are actually ignored, which were the integration tests. No technical stuff. Let's get into the demo. Once you've run this command before, cargo install path, you can now run Stellar plugin ls. Now you see the plugin policy. You can run Stellar policy -- help. To generate a policy contract, you have to run the command Stellar policy generate. And I actually did this as a wizard. So enter policy name, demo policy. What would you like to do? Continue. Description. Yes, this is a demo policy description. Would you like to continue? Yeah. Do you want to enable function whitelisting? If you're interacting with like a token contract, you want to whitelist functions like transfer, send, and allow, this is where you do it. But for this demo purpose, we're not going to be doing it. But make sure that this was tested already. You can check the test use case. Now, continue. Would you like to enable whitelisting of a contract? Yes, I would like to enable whitelisting on contract. So yes, I am going to be whitelisting this contract address. Continue. Enable recipients whitelisting. Yes. Address this. Continue. Amount cap. This is where you set limits for the amount you won't be able to perform. So I'm gonna do this amount. Note that 10 million troops equals to 1 XLM. Continue. Enable weight limiting. Yeah. This is measured in ledger. 5 seconds equals to per ledger. I'm gonna do 300. Continue. Next is admin functionality. What is admin functionality? Admin functionality just allows you to be able to add, remove unauthorized wallet address, manage persistent storage carefully. So this is recommended for our case because we add limit limiting and amount caps. This enables us to be able to increase and decrease our rate limiting function and manage other wallet address. So it's recommended in our case. Continue. Enable admin wallet. Yeah, continue. Looking at the folder in here, we can find our demo policy. So let's check out this was generated. Looking at the readme. The readme explains the basic stuff this contract does and how to set it up, including build, deployment, and I had an extra stuff which is an example usage for integration. The first step is to cd into demo policy. The readme, we have to npm install the demo policy contract, which you can also generate the bindings. I'll walk you through that in the video too. So once you run the command make policy generate, this generates this file that contains the contract, which is the policy contract. Then you can deploy it. So once our package is fully installing, we can run the command make build to build our contract. Also want make test. There's some basic text on this contract and you can find them in here in text.lc. Deploy your contract is as easy as running the command make deploy -testnet. If you want to deploy on mainnet, make deploy -mainnet, make deploy -testnet. If you want to enter your secret key, you can press option 2. If you want to use the CLI identity, you can run option 1. So option 1 in my case. And this is trying to run on testnet, simulating, submitting installation transaction, trying to deploy the contract, submitting deploy transaction, and our contract is actually deployed. Let's confirm this on testnet scan by clicking them. You can see contract created. Let's check the time. Let's check you can see contract is created. Looking at the date and the time, 29th of November, 29th of November. Next step is to initialize the contract. Once you deploy it, you have to initialize the contract by running this command, which takes in your deployed contract ID, your source account, your identity, and your admin address. I'm passing this admin address of this contract ID that I just deployed, which you can also find in here. QK. So I'm going to run the transaction test and initialize this contract. You can also do this via the example usage that I did right here in a TypeScript. If you don't want to use the CLI, you can just read the instructions in here. It shows you how to initialize with initialize policy. And our transaction is successful. We can see the hash in here. You can see right here, it invoked a contract init on our contract QK, on our policy contract, which is QK, which you can start using it to make transactions. I'm just going to do a demo example here, how to use the policy contacts just so you know that it works. For other demo use case, you can come to demo.md, which I documented how you can use this with the Passkit SDK and other operations. But for this demo, I'm going to be using this TypeScript integration.ts that comes along once you generate using the plugin. So first you have to make bindings. You can follow the instructions in the readme here. First you have to make binding. Then you cd into demo policy-sdk pnpm install. Next pnpm build. Once you run those two commands, you can head out to the example integration. This takes a policy contract ID and we can find that right here. This is just a simple demo to add wallets to allow list. You also have to provide your user public key. Note, I want to call this out. Your Stellar address is different from your user public key. Your user public key looks this way. Then you can run the command pnpm example. And that's it, Joes. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to also look at the testing.mb file to check the integration test and the end-to-end test. Still decentralized.